Hello my friends and other people stumbling across this video. Welcome to my layout of mapping explanation of the entire Pila Ku Jail. The rotations, all of them. I'm probably going to name the video something along those lines. Basically, this entire video is meant to show you all of the rotations that you can find at Pila Ku Jail. About 2 days ago, I made the money per hour video for this place, which I might as well link in case anyone wants to check it out on the top right corner. And in that one I said that this area has probably 5 rotations at the very least, if not more. So then I figured why not visit Pila Ku Jail and actually search the entire cave and see exactly how many rotations I can make, because I myself never checked the entire cave and I wanted to know exactly how the entire layout looks like, if there are better rotations that I never discovered in the past, mainly to see if I can use one of those to grind on the Arsha server. So if you don't know already how the cave looks like and would like to know how to get to each of those rotations and probably never ever get lost again in Pila Ku Jail, then stick around. Not much else to be said for the intro. It's going to take a while actually to show all of the rotations, so I will try to explain some stuff if I can to fill the time. If not, I'm just going to put background music and you can enjoy the rest of the rotation on your own. So let's start from the secondary rotation into the cave, the one without the NPC that gives you the daily quest, because I guess that's where I always enter the cave. Somehow I find this entrance always first instead of the other one, the one with the NPC. Probably already started showing this rotation a while ago to save time, but basically as you enter the cave, you take a turn to the left and immediately you can find it. In my opinion, this is the second best rotation in this cave. Obviously the best one is the main rotation, which we can talk about later. But if that one is taken, you can come here. In my opinion, this is the second best one because of the mob density. If you include those packs on the stairs close to where you enter the cave, basically where my wizard drops down to reset the loop, and also that mini room close to the stairs that go downwards to the next big room, basically you should have enough monsters to sustain constant grinding. At least for my wizard's clearing speed, I seem to have enough monsters. For the later rotations, that's not necessarily going to be always the case, so that's why this is the second best one. Other than that, the main rotation is always contested on Arsha. I would say for this one it's pretty much the same case. I'm not sure if you're going to have much luck to find it empty if you want to grind on the Arsha server, and besides that, not much else to be said. The second entrance doesn't have that NPC, so if you want to do the quests, it's pretty far from that NPC. And yeah, let's move on into the second one. From here, you just go downstairs and enter the next big room, which in fact is the second rotation. This one I used to grind in the past in its smaller form, as I'm showing it in the first half of the clip, as you can see it, basically without going down on that room downstairs. That's how I used to grind it in the past over 1 year ago, and at that time it actually was enough, but these days with my current gear it's not enough monsters to sustain my wizard's clearing speed. And for that reason I have to include the room that you can find downstairs with basically I would say this rotation has a first half on the top side and the second half on the bottom side. You have to include both of them to make this rotation worth it. Because of that, I am not really a big fan of it. I find that big gap between the two halves of the rotation kind of annoying, and I don't think I would ever come here to grind this one, especially since I have other options. Moving on from here, you go upstairs, you take 2 turns to the right, then go straight forward until you get to the main rotation. This one is really hard to miss. It's a big circle type room with some green atmosphere around it. This is what I would call the main rotation. It's basically the biggest one here. I would say every end game, I don't know, 260 AP plus person would first come here, just because it has the most amount of monsters, and you can easily extend it by using the packs that go upstairs towards the first entrance, the one with the NPC. We can get into that a little bit later. And also there are a couple more packs around the outer circle. Basically I'm grinding the one inside, the one with grills on the floor, stuff like that. Basically, if you look, there is a smaller outer ring which has some monsters left over. Some people may want to include those, maybe not. In any case, this is the main rotation, and obviously it's the most contested one. I would say good luck grinding here if you want to try it on Arsha, because I assume you're going to have to PK people every 15 minutes to, you know, keep the rotation. In any case, I guess we can move on from this one and get, let's actually go first to the entrance with the NPC. It's easier to show the other rotation starting from there. So I would suggest you to probably use this entrance as the main one to park your elephant here and, you know, just enter the cave from here, because this NPC gives you that one daily quest which has one Kafra stone as reward. These days Kafra stones are over 2 millions each, and one gold bar, so it's basically easy 3 millions for just simply picking up the quest. So from this entrance, I'm going to fast forward the path towards the fourth rotation, the one that I named the unknown one on the money per hour video, or spot review, I guess. It's a quite a long path. If you do it once or twice, you will get used to it, and especially once you see the other rotations and understand where those, you know, are in terms of where they are placed, you're going to memorize this path pretty easily. It's probably the farthest away rotation that you will find in here, but while testing myself, I was able to easily grind this one on the Arsha server without being interrupted. Now, will this get more contested once people learn that it exists? Probably, but just saying, if you want to grind on Arsha, maybe pick this rotation. Compared to the first one, which I said is the second best one in here, this rotation is slightly worse. I have to include the packs from the top of the stairs. It's not even a complete pack, it's just simply some monsters scattered around. I have to include those and then drop down to do the entire circle around the room, plus including all of the mini rooms with a couple of monsters that are in that big room. I have to use all of those to make this rotation work, and even with those, if I grind at full speed on my wizard, I still have to wait maybe 5 seconds or so for the first pack to respawn. So it's not the most efficient one if you are a very fast clearer. I would recommend it for Arsha grinding, or if you just want to casually grind while watching Netflix and you don't pay too much attention of how efficient you are grinding, or if you are a slower class in general. Probably my favorite rotation so far, just because it's, or at least it was, uncontested when I grinded here a couple of days ago. Other than that, let's move on into two failed rotations. So from here you go upstairs, and immediately the first room that you can find is the first failed rotation. I tried to use these monsters to, basically I saw that this room doesn't have enough monsters to make a proper rotation, but I still gave it a try. I cleared everything, basically, you know, made a circle around the room, and yeah, you can't really use it. It's too separated from other rooms to actually to extend it in another way, so that's pretty much all I can say about it. From here you again move up one room. Basically we are going backwards from where we came from that entrance with the NPC. So the next room is the second failed rotation, which again, this one has slightly more monsters than the previous one. I figured it might be worth it, since it seemed at the first glance like it might be enough for a rotation, but again, after I cleared all of them and made the full loop around the room, it wasn't enough to sustain my wizard. Maybe you want to use it if you are a slower grinder or you just want to check out Pila Ku Jail. I don't know, in my case I didn't find it to be good enough to, to name it a proper rotation. So far we have these two failed rotations. From here again we move backwards from where we came from, just simply the next big room, going straight forward, and this one is what I would call the fifth rotation of this place. This is the only one so far that I didn't know before making this video, and it seems to be just as good as the fourth one, the one that I recommended for Arsha grinding. Why? Because again, after clearing every single monster from this room, doing the full loop around it, and including that somewhat separate mini room that it has, going back to the beginning of the rotation, I had to wait a couple of seconds for the first pack to respawn. So it is almost enough to keep my wizard grinding constantly at what I would call normal grinding speed. I'm not sure if I was pushing myself. Basically, while recording the footage, I was just simply walking around the cave. If I saw a rotation worth grinding, I just started clearing the room. So I wasn't necessarily trying to grind as fast as possible or whatever. I was just simply clearing the monsters. I would say, again, if you want to grind on the Arsha server, maybe try this rotation. I personally will probably try it if I ever return back to Pila Ku Jail, just because it seems just as good as the fourth one, and it might be just as uncontested. I will probably not have a hard time grinding this one. Now, at this point, I basically showed you all of the rotations that exist in Pila Ku Jail. So going back to the main rotation, from here, I just simply started recording myself going through the cave and basically visiting every single turn and every single room that I could find in the hopes that I would discover a sixth rotation. Sadly, that didn't happen, so turns out Pila Ku Jail has a total of 5 rotations. I said in that video that this area has at least 5 rotations, turns out it has at most 5 usable rotations. So I'm just going to leave the footage playing, just simply trying to, check every turn, every room, see if I can find something usable. In the end, I didn't. I just simply looped around until I got back to that entrance with the NPC, where the video should basically end. At this point, I would ask you to maybe leave a comment if somehow I managed to miss some room inside Pila Ku Jail, but I kind of doubt it. In my opinion, I explored every single bit of the cave, and in total I only found 5 rotations. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you learned something from this. Maybe now you're never ever going to get lost in Pila Ku Jail. I will see you in the next video. This was just a, I guess, fun little project, and until then, bye.